Well, hello everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in. Whether it's deliberate or accidental, we welcome all of you to the show. My name is Robert Handa from NBC Bay Area, and I am very proud to be the host of this second day of the 54th Annual Northern California Cherry Blossom Festival. I will be following in the footsteps of my colleague Mike Inouye, who did a great job of hosting this on the first day. And, we all kind of know that, like Mike, I'm wearing a mask because we are still in the midst of a pandemic. And we would all love to have things go back the way they were, all the energy on the streets of Japantown. I myself, I'm missing out on being on a float in the parade. And so not only do I miss out on the energy that I get from interacting with the crowd, but I did all this practice waving for nothing. And in this room, Greg and Mickey, they don't wave back. Oh, okay, well, Mickey's waving back. Nothing like a little public chiding to get a little cooperation here. So thank you, Mickey. Now, of course, they have done a great job of co-chairing this event and this program we're going to see today. We celebrate the theme of Kizuna, and that is the strengthening of the bonds of community and friendship. And today's schedule is proof that the Japanese American and Japanese communities in Northern California are showing strength by coming together today. Now, if you are joining us on Zoom, Facebook, or YouTube, we have a great team keeping an eye on the social media sites, so if you have any questions, please feel free to place it in the Q&A. Okay, so now let's get the show started. We have a brand new organization to the festival to introduce to you. Please welcome to our festival's community, the California-Japan Sister Cities Network.
What are sister cities? Sister cities are friendship cities, are formal and long-term partnerships between two communities in two countries. Do you know how many sister city or sister state relationships there are between the U.S. and Japan? There are 458. The oldest U.S.-Japan sister city relationship was established in 1955 between St. Paul, Minnesota and Nagasaki, followed by Riverside and Sendai, San Jose and Okayama, San Francisco and Osaka, Pasadena and Mishima, San Diego and Yokohama, all established in 1957. California enjoys over 100 sister city relationships with Japan. It also is a sister state of Osaka Prefecture. Since the beginning, the U.S.-Japan Sister City programs have played important roles in bridging communities between these two countries. Each sister city relationship is unique, but they all have a common mission: promoting peace, understanding, and mutual appreciation through people-to-people connections. There are many types of sister city activities. One of the most robust and popular activities are youth cultural exchanges. Many students homestay with the host family and learn their culture and customs firsthand. Whether you visit your sister city or host visitors from your sister city at your house, you will build lasting friendships with people you meet. Arts and culture programs are also powerful diplomatic tools to bring sister cities together. Music, art, food, literature, they help us gain a deep understanding of each other. These activities make a big impact personally, locally, and globally. Mutual respect, understanding, and appreciation help build strong connections between people and the communities. This is the power of citizen diplomacy. The California-Japan Sister Cities Network is an all-volunteer 501c3 nonprofit organization. Its goal is to connect all cities in California that have a sister city or a friendship city in Japan. In partnership with the Consulates General of Japan in San Francisco and Los Angeles, we provide networking opportunities for sister city organizations to share resources, support, and inspiration for each other. The pandemic has given serious challenges to the sister city community. Unfortunately, all of the in-person exchange activities have been suspended. However, our commitment to citizen diplomacy remains as strong as ever. Many organizations are now building new and creative virtual programs. During this difficult time, people-to-people connections through cultural understanding are more important than ever. CJSCN and the California Japan Sister City community are honored to be part of a peace-building effort that strengthens U.S.-Japan relations. Are you inspired to be a citizen diplomat? You can start by supporting your local cultural events and Sister City activities. To find out more about CJSCN or Sister City activities in your area, visit our website. You can sign up for our monthly newsletter, see our event calendar, view Sister City locations across California and Japan, and more. We are proud to support the 54th Annual Northern California Cherry Blossom Festival.
Well, it is certainly amazing to learn about how many Sister City programs we have in California. To learn more about the California Japan Sister Cities Network, visit their website at www.caljapansistercities.org. You only have to remember the middle part, caljapansistercities.org. And we want to, again, encourage all of you. We thank all of you who are joining us on social media, on Zoom, Facebook, and YouTube. And we welcome all of you. And, of course, we're talking about Jinda from New York City, thank you for joining us, as well as Stacy from Fremont, as well as Mark from San Jose. And Mark, thank you for that because you give me a segue to our next segment, which is now we're going to take you to San Jose, California. And I'm very proud to introduce my adopted hometown Japanese community with a short introduction from the Japantown Community Congress of San Jose, the Wesley Ukulele Band from the Wesley United Methodist Church of San Jose, and the Japanese American Museum of San Jose.
Japantown San Jose has always had a strong sense of community. For decades, it has provided a place for immigrant cultures to feel welcome and protected. Japantown is home to many small businesses that rely on the support of the community. It also has attracted many out-of-towners and passers-by who always mention how much they love our neighborhood. Taking a look at how overwhelming the past year has been, we are grateful for our supporters, old and new. It's because of you that we are able to continue providing services that help our community stay afloat. Between multiple lockdowns and the constant changing of public health guidelines, it has been a struggle to say the least. We appreciate your patience, your support, and most of all, your resilience. We look forward to a new year full of gratitude, knowing that we have you on our side to help us get through almost anything. On behalf of Japantown San Jose, we'd like to say thank you.
She may or may not want the year mentioned. that'd be a good person to have on. Okay, yeah. songs I've ever heard. At the end I put, so who wore it better? I go, never mind, don't answer. Oh, the float. They've ridden in the float with me. Sing it from that side, you know. Yeah, I'll show you a picture of them
Thanks to the Northern California Cherry Blossom Committee for reaching out to the Japanese American Museum of San Jose and allowing us to promote the museum. Happy virtual Cherry Blossom Festival, everyone. I'm Michael Serra, the board president of the Japanese American Museum of San Jose and a proud product of San Francisco. I grew up in the city, went to George Washington High School, go Eagles, and participated in the Cherry Blossom Festivals back in those days, selling shumai and calipis. You're probably thinking, calipis? Well, they call it calpico now. Something about a name like calpis just didn't sound appealing. Go figure. I also went to Pine Methodist back in the day when we used to have Thursday night happenings, and Gary Barbie was our youth minister. As many of you know, there are 3 remaining Japantowns in the U.S., San Francisco, San Jose, and LA. And our two are only an hour apart, and we share a lot of similar challenges during this pandemic. But we also have some great things in common, like the NCI program, where we have our cohorts come together and understand and share the three individual Japantowns and the uniquenesses, as well as some of the things they have in common, where they build these relationships and hopefully will foster future leaders for all of our Japantowns. The other thing that we have in common is we all love our Japantowns and the communities that surround us. The Japanese American Museum of San Jose's mission is to collect, preserve, and share the Japanese American history, culture, and arts with the Greater Bay Area. And as we adopt to these times, we have been pivoting all of our public programs and events to a virtual platform. If you're part of a school group, we are conducting virtual tours, and you can find out more by visiting our website at jamsj.org. You can also follow us on our social media channels, and we look forward to welcoming everyone back once the pandemic settles down. So we hope to see you in person soon. And a shout out to Mickey and Gregory for allowing us to participate this year. Have a great event. We've put together a video with a sneak peek of inside the museum, and we'd love to have you enjoy it. Thanks again.
Oh, that was great. That was great. A shout out to all of my friends over at JAMS. That's what we in the South Bay call the Japanese American Museum of San Jose. If you ever get a chance to go over there on the edge of the San Jose Japantown, you should do it. The exhibits are great, and it's a wonderful way to get a historical perspective on the South Bay and the Japanese American community. Also want to say hello and thanks to the Wesley Ukulele Band. Sukiyaki, which all of us Japanese know doesn't have anything to do with the song, but Sukiyaki was one of the first songs I ever learned as a young boy, and I also have taken up the ukulele recently, so I'm going to try to learn that song, and I've even threatened to play it for the people here unless I get a bigger dressing room, all right? Anyway, although we are unable to have this festival in person for the second year in a row, this year did bring the communities closer and gave us an opportunity to get to know those other organizations that you might not see, like the Wesley Ukulele Band and the Japanese American Museum of San Jose. And you're getting to see all of this because we have set up a very sophisticated streaming network here. That's why you're able to see it on Zoom, Facebook, and YouTube. So we want to make sure that you all go out and tell your friends and let them know that they can see it in so many different ways. And we're talking about you, Shirley, from San Diego, as well as Stephanie Sato, former queen, Japantown queen, and a friend of Mickey's. Go out and tell your friends and get them to join in on the streaming. I'll wait. Okay, now continuing on with the South Bay, I'd like to introduce the Cupertino Tokugawa Sister Cities Incorporated's 2021 Cupertino Cherry Blossom Festival.
Hello, my name's Elisa Sakas, president of Cupertino Toyokawa Sister Cities Incorporated. Due to the ongoing pandemic, we are holding the 2021 Cupertino Cherry Blossom Festival virtually in an abbreviated festival presentation format. It will stream live on both our YouTube channel and Facebook page at 1 p.m. Pacific Time on Saturday, April 24th. In 2022, we will return with our full entertainment lineup and the ability to offer Japanese foods, hands-on demonstrations, exhibits, kids zone activities, and arts and craft booths. The details for this year's virtual festival and our 2022 in-person festival will be available on our website, www.cupertinocbf.org. Please enjoy this video from our 2019 Cherry Blossom Festival. We look forward to seeing you in person in 2022 and before then, virtually, this April 24th at 1 p.m. Thank you and stay safe and well.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, you can never have enough festivals. Now, this is another opportunity to view our Japanese and Japanese American culture virtually. So check the chat rooms and you can see that their website address is on there, and check them out for more information. Now, let me impress you with a little Japanese knowledge. Minyu means the genre of traditional Japanese folk music and is usually accompanied by singing, shamisen, taiko, and dance. Taking our community to the Sacramento area, the Sakura Miyu Duku Kai has put together a presentation of their performances. So here is the Sakura Minyo Duku Kai. Oh, that was very nice. Now, coming back into the San Francisco area, one of my favorites, the Washi Ningyo, or Japanese paper dolls, have always impressed those who have attended the festival. You'll see in this presentation how intricate and detailed work has gone into making each creation presented at this year's festival parade. Some of you who have participated in the Grand Parade may recognize yourselves. Well, what amazing work to truly reflect the spirit of our festival. For more information, please contact the Japanese Culture and Community Center of Northern California at www.jccccnc.org. And I tell you, this music must be getting to a lot of people here. We just heard from our old friend Ben Nakajo, who said that he's enjoying it. In fact, he says that watching these programs makes him want to dance. So Ben, I don't know how good you're going to get, but we might be able to fit you in on next week's show, or at least maybe get you in on one of these festivals, okay? And speaking of festivals, I'd like to introduce you to another wonderful Japanese festival we have in the Bay Area. Here is a quick glimpse of the Millbrae Japanese Culture Festival. And for more information about the Millbrae Japanese Culture Festival, please visit their website. You can find their website on our chat room, as well as more information. Okay, all of this performing is making me hungry, so let's go to Kenji Yoko, founder of the Bay Area-based Kenji's Kitchen, who was born and raised in southern rural Japan and has been passionate about cooking from a very young age. As is common in Japan, he grew up in a home with 3 generations and spent all of his time with his grandmother in the kitchen. She taught him everything he knows about cooking. Kenji learned from his grandmother, not just traditional Japanese cooking techniques, but that the purpose of cooking is to bring joy to the people that you are cooking for.
Welcome to Sakura Matsuri. I am Kenji at the Kenji's Kitchen, and I'm going to show you how to make Hanami Dango, which is also well known as Sanshoku Dango. And Japanese loves viewing sakura, which is a cherry blossom in the spring, and we eat and drink under the sakura trees and enjoy the welcoming the springs. And the color of these dango has 3 different colors. One is a pink, which indicate or represent cherry blossom, the beautiful pink color, as well as the white is the last spring snows, and the 3rd color, which is a green, which represent the new glass or new leaves in the spring on the trees. So those are the representing beautiful, welcoming springs for Cherry Blossom Festival. And when I was a child, my grandmother made those Sanshoku Dango or Hanami Dango for Sakura Matsuri or viewing the sakura, and enjoyed quite a bit. So let me show you how to make them. Let's talk about the ingredients first. So today we are using joshinko, which is Japanese rice flour, and this is going to be used for the main ingredients today. And this is a regular rice flour. And versus this one is shiratamako, which is looks like a pebble, but this is also the powdery flour too. And this is made of mochi rice or sweet rice, and it's called shiratamako. And we are going to combine them today for making this dango. But if you cannot find those ingredients at your market, you can use the mochiko replacing all those two. But if you can find at the Japanese market, I highly encourage you to use those two different rice flours. And we are going to combine them first. So this is 160 gram. And shiratamako is 40 grams. And this is 60 grams of sugar. And we just mix this one and the next ingredient we are going to add in the liquid. Today actually I am going to use milk instead of hot water. And this milk has been simmering a while, and we are going to add this hot milk to this dry ingredient. And again, usually people use the regular water, hot water for this. However, using the milk, I feel like this tastes a little bit more flavor, as well as it gives a little more tastier the dango. So that's why I'm using the milk. And that key point is we are going to add little by little this milk, hot milk, to this dry ingredients. So I'm going to mix. And once you adding the milk, by the way, milk amount is 200 milliliter. And it will be getting the flour becomes together, so don't worry. So after mixing the joshinko and shiratamako with milk, it's became this completely mixed, and the texture should be like this consistency, which Japanese sometimes describe as mimitabu no yawarakasa, which means earlobe texture. So this is like a kind of soft, but not too soft. That is the texture they are talking about, we are talking about too. So once it's become like this, so next is we are going to cover this and microwave for 3 minutes. And after that, we are going to mix them and make it smooth. So after cooking 3 minutes, we are going to let it cool a little bit so that we can handle, but we want to knead this dough a little bit later. So after a few minutes, it's got like an easy to handle kind of temperature now. So I am going to knead this dough with my hand. Prepare some water next to you and put your hands a little bit wet, and we are going to knead until it gets kind of like a smooth texture. So after kneaded about between 3 to 5 minutes, it's become really smooth and also no longer sticky. So this is the consistency we are looking for. And we are going to divide 3 equal amount and making 2 different coloring for 2 of the dangos. So today I am going to use those 2 items for the coloring. So first, for green color, I am using matcha powder. And traditionally in Japan, the green color for this dango is used as a yomogi herbs. But the yomogi herbs is a little bit harder to obtain in the States. So I am using a matcha powder, but it's going to make also really nice tasty one too. So, and for pink color, red color, I have this is freeze-dried strawberry. I ground it with a spice grinder and makes it this powder. And in general, people use food coloring, but I don't like to use food coloring. And for the flavoring, I thought about this strawberry powders. You can buy strawberry powder as well too, so you can just use it as that. And I am going to add, these are like 1 teaspoon each of the powder, so I am going to also add 1 teaspoon each tap hot water. And we are going to mix them. Next, I am mixing those strawberry color as well as the green color to the dangos. So what I'm going to do is like this. So add these coloring to the dango. And with your finger, basically you are going to knead it and make this color to be distributed. So look at this, that nice, really light pink sakura or cherry blossom color I created. And next, let's move to the other green. So matcha is the same way too. You can just add the paste we created, and we are going to add to the center, and we are going to start kneading. And to knead, it will be sticky, so time to time you can use that little bit of water so that it won't stick to your hand. Alright, so we finished the coloring. So next we are going to make a little bit of cylinder shape and divide by 6 equal shapes, equal amount. First, okay, then I'm going to make 6 equal amount. And it is easy to make the shape of dango shape. This is like dango shape. Look. So look, now all the dango has been done. So next we are going to skewer them. And the color order is always the same. The first is green, and next is a white, and the last one is the pink. So that's the order. So all you have to do is prepare 3 dangos and skewer them. Skewer. Okay. Here we go. And we are going to put it on the dish. So now this is the completed Hanami Dango. It looks wonderful, doesn't it? So let's try eating them. But that beautiful different 3 colors, and this reminds me really my childhood. My grandmother made those Hanami Dango for us, and eating those dangos near the cherry blossom tree, sakura. And I'm going to taste them. ただきます。The texture is chewy but soft, and the flavor of strawberry is very light, but it's there. Very spring-like, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy this Hanami Dango at your Sakura Matsuri, and I hope you're going to have a wonderful time and happy cooking!
Well, I certainly feel more knowledgeable around the kitchen and certainly a lot hungrier. Now, for more information about Kenji, visit his website, and you can find out information about his website as well as more information about his business in the chat room. Now, we also want to thank some people who are watching. Jennifer from Ohio is checking in with us and telling us that she's moving to the Bay Area. So that's great news. Jennifer, I hope by the next time you come here, you'll be able to see the festival in person. We also have Sandeep saying hello, saying that he's enjoying the festival. And also Michelle from Emeryville is saying hello on YouTube. And don't forget that you can catch all of this on YouTube as well as Facebook and Zoom. Now at this time we would like to acknowledge the festival's many arts and crafts vendors who would typically be joining us in the Buchanan Mall over the festival weekends. And although we are unable to host them in person, you can still support them and purchase their items through our Arts and Crafts virtual marketplace on the nccbf.org website. And you will find a directory to all of our artisans as well as links to their online shops and social media outlets. Now, we're going to talk a little seriously about something that I featured on my show, Asian Pacific America, which is on NBC Bay Area. A very important program to get the Asian American community involved in helping diagnose conditions and things that are pretty unique to our community. Let's take a look at the Asian American Donor Program.
Hi, this is Kazumi.
And this is Matt, Kazumi's son.
I was recently diagnosed with AML, which is a type of leukemia.
Kazumi's looking for a stem cell donor so she can have a stem cell transplant.
I'd like to get back to doing things that I enjoy, such as hiking, visiting my friends and family in Japan.
Hope you're enjoying the festival, and thanks for registering to become a potential donor.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Yeah, I do need I have, my sister is a 50% match, which is doable, but comes with complications and risks, so I am still searching for a bone marrow match and transplant. Thanks everyone for signing up for Be the Match. It's really touching, but just surreal. And don't feel too bad for me, you know, it sounds comically awful, but I'm doing okay.
Again, a very important program for the community. For more information or to donate, please contact aadp.org. Now it's time for one of my favorites. I just got finished wishing her a happy birthday the other day. So let's bring you back to San Francisco and join origami expert and teacher Linda Mihara from Paper Tree to learn how to make a flying paper crane.
Hi, I'm Linda Mihara, and I'm here to welcome you to the 54th Annual Northern California Cherry Blossom Festival. I'm here to show you the beautiful art of origami, something that I've participated in the festival with for almost every single year of the festival. And so I'm really happy to bring this to you and share with you a real special model, which is a variation on the classic origami crane. This is the flying version, so it's a real special model and it's a lot of fun. So let's get started. You want to start with a nice sheet of origami paper. I'm using a larger sheet, a 10-inch by 10-inch. I kind of like to fold big models. It's great when you're doing action models because you get a lot of action with it. So a 10 by 10-inch origami square. And origami paper has color on one side and it's white on the back. And this helps you when you're following directions in a book, but also as you're learning from somebody, they'll refer to the back and front like I will this time. So we want to start with the color side face up, and we're going to make some pre-creases. So the first pre-crease is going to be both triangles. So we want to do the first triangle like this. You want to hold it in place here once you have the points lined up, and then pull straight down the middle. And then you're going to go to the left and right, and then that prevents any shifting from happening, and you get a nice triangle like you see here. You're going to open it up and rotate, and fold the other triangle. Line up your points, hold it in place, pull straight down, go to the right and left. Here's your second triangle. So now we're going to open it up, turn it over. So now we're looking at the back side of the paper, and we're going to fold both rectangles. So the first rectangle goes over, and what I do is I line up this one corner here, line up the second corner here, hold it in the middle, pull straight down, and fold. Like this. Take it and open it up and rotate and fold the other rectangle. So again, lining up that one point there and that one point there. Start from the middle and work your way out. Now, after you finish this, leave it folded in this fashion here. And what we're going to do is take the folded edge, which is here. I'm going to grab each corner of the folded edge. And what you want to do is, as you push it together, you see how the bottom opens up like this. And the 4 points will actually meet together there. What you want to do is coax 2 flaps to the one side, and then the 2 flaps to the other side. So now you have an even, perfect, what they call a preliminary base in origami. Have the open end facing you. And you see that pre-crease that we have running down the middle right here. We're going to take the top flap on this edge and bring that to the center line, kind of like a paper airplane fold. So bring it to the center, have it line up, and have it come to a point just like this. Do the same for the opposite side. So this edge is going to come to the center, just like that. So this looks like an ice cream cone. I like to use visualization. It kind of helps you helps you remember the fold, which is kind of fun. So now that you have an ice cream cone, think of this as your ice cream. So this triangle becomes your ice cream. You're going to fold it onto the cone, like that. So what do you do when you have an ice cream cone? Well, you eat the ice cream first, which is, we're going to unfold that, and then you eat the cone. So unfold those 2 flaps. So now you've got this, what looks like an upside down triangle here. Peel away this top layer, and just the top layer only. And if you look on the side here where the ice cream is, you want to keep the ice cream flat, and the base of the ice cream here becomes a hinge. So you see how the paper kind of moves, and that acts as a hinge. You want to do that. So peel open the paper and open it all the way. And what happens is the sides of the paper start to come together like you see here. So start from the bottom and let's work with one side. So you're just going to take that and you're just going to fold it in. And you're folding along the pre-crease that you've made of the ice cream cone. And you're going to continue all the way to the top. It should fall right into place because you're reversing the direction of that fold that you did. And then let's do the other side. So start from the bottom, bring the paper in, and then continue to bring it in, and it should start to flatten and look just like this. Now we're going to repeat that for the other side. So let's turn the model over. Here's our center line. Again, the open end is facing you. You're going to take this outer edge and bring it to the center. We're going to make another ice cream cone, just like that. Take this edge and you're going to bring that to the center. Just like that. Of course, we have to do the ice cream. Put the ice cream onto the cone like this. And eat the ice cream, eat the cone, stretch the paper out, so peel off this top layer, leaving the ice cream flat, using this as a hinge. So you're going to open it up. The sides start to come in and work one side at a time. So let's start from the bottom and then continue all the way to the top like this. And the final side, we're starting from the bottom, bringing that in, and then continue and complete it so it looks like this. So this is the classic crane base that's used for many bird models in origami. For obvious reasons, because you have 2 legs and you've got 2 wings. So now what we're going to do is, starting from the outside, you see you have 2 layers of paper on each leg. So let's just choose this one leg, and we're taking just the top layer and we're going to fold it in towards the center. But the key here is to make sure that you don't go all the way. And in fact, you want to leave a little bit of a gap all the way down. So if you look here, I've left some space all the way down, which is what you want. This is going to help you with the following fold when we have to reverse this whole thing. And you'll see why. So now that we have this in place, we're going to turn this over and do the same for the other side of that leg. So from the outside, you're going to bring that in. And again, remember, you're going to make sure you have a gap all the way down. So it looks like this. So you have one slim side and one wider side here. Let's continue with the head here. We're going to flip this over like the page of a book. Take the leg and bring it all the way to the top and kind of line it up with the top points of the wings here. And then close it. Oh wait, actually, after you open it up here, we're going to take the tip and fold it down just a little bit. That'll be the beak. And then go ahead and close this up, just like that. Now we're going to take the tail and open this up. So from the outside, you're going to flip this open. So you're looking at this, taking the tail and bringing it all the way to the top, like that. And then now we're going to close it up. So take the flap and bring it back over so that now you're looking at this. So now we're going to open the model. You're going to take the tail and you want to you can swing it out like this. You can see, just keep it, you're not going to unfold it, you're just going to keep it pinched. You can move it this way. If you look down here, there's a point at the base of the wing here. So you want to swing it all the way down so it reaches that point here. And then go ahead and fold this in place, like that. Now we're going to reach in and get the head here, and we're just going to swing this out. And if you look, there are some nice layers here that create a nice angle. So you want to go ahead and open this up to kind of line up with that angle there. And you want to go ahead and pinch this in place. You might have to reach inside and kind of open up those layers here. So you flatten it just like that. So now the final step is to take the beak, and you want to reach inside and bring it out like this. Again, you can take this and actually you can swing this any number of directions, but I kind of bring it out, well, kind of at this angle here. And then all you do is just pinch it in place like that. So now you've done all the folding for your crane. So now it's time to fly it. This is the fun part. You're going to reach inside and just very gently open both wings. Do not fold it here. If you fold it, it's not going to fly. So we want to very gently stretch the wings out as far as it'll go so that it opens just like this. Hold it at the base of the neck right here. Hold it at the tip of the tail here. And you see the tail is pointing that way, and that's the direction you're going to pull. So here we go. So here is your flying crane for the Cherry Blossom Festival. Thank you for joining me. We hope to see you in real life next year for the 55th Cherry Blossom Festival. Have a great day.
And Linda is a San Francisco Japantown native and had participated in the festival and actually folded origami as her talent piece in the Queen program. And also, we hope you had a happy birthday. This might be a good time to remind everybody about the Arts and Crafts virtual marketplace that we have on nccbf.org. Again, you can find out more about the arts and crafts merchants as well as do some purchasing online. Now, we stay in the San Francisco Japantown community with our next presenter with Taiko Sensei Melody Takata. She will be teaching the basics of Taiko and Taiko Kata Sukeroku Bondaiko. Let's try this.
Welcome to Genru Arts, Taiko Kata 1, Skeroku stand style for Bondaiko. You can find us online at genruarts.org, how to make a practice taiko using a boxer bucket, along with this video of short history about Bondaiko and the activity that follows. So hope you can join us on our website, but I hope you enjoy it in this share. So Bondaiko comes from the word Obon, and Obon is a Buddhist summertime matsuri festival honoring ancestors. And you can see the Bonadari dancers dancing around the yagura, the raised stage in which the lead dancers and or musicians would be playing. And in Obon, they use minyo music. And minyo music is very specifically brought about as a particular song for regions or towns in Japan. It's reflective of the environment that they live in or the activity that they do in that area, such as like Tankobushi is a coal miner's song, dance that came from Mikke town, which was a coal mining town. So that kind of relationship. And in traditional minyo music, we use instrumentation that contains one of or more of the following: the fue, bamboo flute, shamisen, 3-string lute, and vocals, and accompanied by taiko and ataregane. Ataregane is a kind of a bell, and taiko is the drum. Those were the traditional instruments. However, in today's minyo music in Japan, you may see Western instrumentation and maybe a rock version or a different kind of version now. And if you live in California and specifically in Los Angeles, I know at the Venice Buddhist Temple in the summertime for Obon, they would use a song from the Beach Boys to dance along with. So let's move on to talking about the Skeroku stand or diagonal stand. The stand became popularized by the group Oedo Skeroku Kai back in the 1950s, and we'll get back to talking about them later. But to stay with that, in the minyo songs or music for Obon, that at the Buddhist temples, they normally played on the taiko drum at a horizontal position, seated around and placed around at the head height, or else standing up, and they would use a taller stand to put the taiko drum at head height, but at a horizontal. So in the Skeroku stand style that became popular in the 50s, they used it as a way of moving around, creating more choreography around the drum. So let's talk about Skeroku. Skeroku was the name of a kabuki play, and it was called The Flower of Edo, this play. And Edo comes from the name, comes from Edo period, a specific time in Japan, and specifically in Tokyo, where the arts were flourishing and was kind of the height of the artistry that they were producing at that time. The gentleman there, his name was Skeroku, so he was kind of an unusual, flamboyant, and handsome man, and you can see him wearing a purple hachimaki headband, which is unusual, and he wore yellow tabi, which tabis are usually white, and they're a kind of socks, but his were yellow, and he carried around a kasa. So he had a very interesting persona. So let's talk about Bondaiko competition that started in the 1950s, I believe, early 1950s. And the competition happened yearly. The competitors would show off their individual choreography, unique choreography that they would create on the Skeroku stand for Obon. One of the winners was Seido Kobayashi sensei, and him along with 4 other following years winners would form a group called Oedo Skeroku Kai, and they were focused on creating music that specifically used only josuke, the chudaiko middle-sized drum, or featured that drum style on the Skeroku stand, as well as the taller stand. And they used ohayashi rhythmic patterns along with other percussive patterns to create their repertoire. And they were the ones who created a style called nidan or yodan, to play on 2 sides or 4 sides simultaneously, using the upright, the high odaiko stand and the Skeroku stand. Excuse me. And just to give you a little bit of background, that I was very fortunate enough to live there in the late 80s in Tokyo and learned from Kobayashi sensei, who popularized the style in the United States on the West Coast in California. So when I lived in Japan, I was fortunate enough to learn from him, his styles and his repertoire, nidan, along with Skeroku Matsuri, Bondaiko, and other songs. So thanks to Kobayashi sensei, I am here to share a little bit of his style and form for Bondaiko.
Welcome to Kata 1 Skeroku stand style. We are going to start off by showing you how we use our kata, which is our stance, for playing on the Skeroku stand or the diagonal stand. So you might have your legs fairly wide apart, and I like to do this barefoot when I show it, just because it's a way of grounding. So like in martial arts or in Nihonbuyo, we have a relationship between our body and the ground. So our energy kind of comes up through the ground, our legs, and we use mostly movement like this, and our legs stay fairly steady. Doesn't mean we don't move them, you can. But for this basic video, it's just focusing on some of the fundamentals of playing on a Skeroku style in that version. Okay, so our legs are apart. I'm going to point them out. I'm left-handed, but I'm hoping you can follow this video as a mirror image. So you'll be using your, whatever my left hand, it's your right hand, okay? So front foot is pointed forward, back foot is slightly turned in, and we like to keep our knee above our ankle. Try not to go extend too far over. It's very bad for your knees to do that. If you take in Nihonbuyo martial arts, you probably know some of these things. I know sometimes they do overextend and sometimes we do as well. But for basics, for protection, we like to make sure we keep our knees above our ankle. Okay, so we're going to start off with kamaite, which is the beginning pose. It's a resting position. So with our legs apart, our arms come around, and they go into this position where our inner arm is touching the forearm and our other hand, my left, your right, is doing more like a salute in front. Don't put your shoulders up or your elbow up. Keep them relaxed and down. Okay, so starting again. If we're in this position, kamaite, around, and settle in this way. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to try 3 strikes. You bring your hand back, right hand back, and come in and strike in. You can see that my knees shifted in terms of the weight. My weight now is on my front knee. I'm going to strike in, don, comes back, other hand, don, back, don. Okay, it, ni, san. Here we go, don, don, don. Okay, when we do this, we also want to keep our upper body relaxed, so my shoulder will come in. I'm not going to strike it in that hard. For Bondaiko, we want to be accompanying the music and not overwhelm it. And so it's more about grace than it is about force. Okay? So going around again, make sure it's not at your legs or behind your legs coming around, but in front of your legs. Kamaite. Hai. And don, don, don. And now we're going to hit on the fuchi. The fuchi is the side of the drum on the top. Kara, ka. So that's the kuchi shoga for hitting the top. Kara, ka. Right, left, right. So 3 strikes. So 1, 2, 3. Hai. Don, don, don. Kara, ka. Again. 1, 2, 3. Hai. Don, don, don. Kara, ka. Let's try a second rhythm pattern. Don, don, ha, don, don. So it's right, left, back, left, right. Kara, ka. Again, right, left, back, left, right. Kara, ka. Okay, so we're going to try both rhythm patterns. 1, 2, 3. Hai. Don, don, don. Kara, ka. Don, don, ha. Don, don, kara, ka. So the tempo and rhythm of it may be different depending on what song you're playing it with. So when you're accompanying the music, it may have a faster beat and it may be more syncopated. So depending on that would change how that sounds. So it could sound like don, 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 kara, don, 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 kara, ka. Or something of that, variations. Bondaiko, as was in the competition that Kobayashi sensei was in, it is up to the player in how they approach the music and to show their virtuosity, but it's also accompanying, so you don't want to overwhelm the music. Okay, let's try this one more time and we'll bring in the drum. 1, 2, 3. Hai. Don, don, don. Kara, ka. Don, don, ha. Don, don. Kara, ka. 1, 2, 3. Hai. Don, don, don. Kara, ka. Don, don, ha. Don, don. Kara, ka. Okay, so now let's show you on my practice drum. And I'm going to use shimebachi, so they're a little bit on the shorter side. So I'll be standing slightly closer than usual. So when we do this, I usually tell people you want to be at the top of your drum. Your feet are in line with the bottom of your drum here. And your bachi should be able to touch center. So if my center is like this, that means I'm too close. I want to be able to touch center with my arm extended out. Not extended out this way, but just if my arms were to the side, and I just bring my hand out, touching center. Great. Then we're going to pull our foot back, point our front foot, back foot comes in slightly, and then we go into kamaite in this position. Okay, so then that means my bachis always stay in line with the center of the drum. The center of the drum here and going all the way back. My angle of my drum is not as tilted as high, so I'm not going to bring my hand here, but I'm going to bring my hand back over here because that's following in the diagonal line of the drum. Okay, so my Taiko drum, I'm going to do it from this side so you can see a little bit better. And hands are down, so we go into kamaite, back leg out, front leg points forward, arms come around in front of your leg, and into kamaite. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Hai. Don. 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 Ka. Ka. Don. Don. Ha. Don. Don. Ka. Ka. 1, 2, 3. Hai. Don. 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 Ka. Ka. Don. Don. Ha. Don. Don. Ka. Ka. 1, 2, 3. Hai. Don. 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 Ka. Ka. Don. Don. Ha. Don. Don. Ka. Ka. Great job, guys. So that's just an introduction. It's wonderful to be here for Cherry Blossom. We hope to see you guys all again. See you on our channel if you'd like to check us out at gandoarts.org. Thank you.
Okay, hey, that was great, huh? I hope you're able to find something to use as a taiko and drum along with her. I was using hashis myself. For more information, please go to their website. You can find it on our chat room. Okay, hey, we also want to keep thanking people who are joining us on Zoom, Facebook, and YouTube. A little shout out to Will Lee, who says hello and is enjoying the festival. So let's take a deep breath and get into the spirit of modern No. The Theater of Yugen will perform an excerpt from The Owl and the Mountain Priest, Fukuro Yamabushi, directed by Yuriko Doi.
He doesn't even recognize me. No, he doesn't recognize anybody. First, I'll take his pulse. That is a curious place to take a pulse. That's very observant of you. You see, when a person has been possessed, his pulse can be found in the head. It's called, head pulse. That certainly makes sense. How is he? He is in a very bad way. But I'll offer a prayer and he should recover in no time at all. Arigatou zonjimasu. Yamabushi! Nari! Impressive, isn't it? Impressive indeed. The headcloth is called toki. Headcloth. You take a long strip of cloth, dip it in black dye, fold it, and perch it on your head. That's why they call it tokin, headcloth. It's a marvel, don't you think? Most marvelous. Take these prayer beads. Well, they're not really beads at all. They're just chunks of wood put together. But if I offer a prayer to the Prince of Enlightenment, surely we will see a miracle. sound indeed. And just what was he doing up there in the mountains? Well, his friends say he brought down an owl's nest. Ah! Say no more. There is no doubt about it. He has been possessed by an owl. Now, an owl spirit departs when the sign of the crow is used in the ritual. I will make the sign of the crow, and he should recover in no time at all. Arigatou zanjimasu. No matter how evil the owl, if I make the A, B, C of prayers, surely he will not D, E, F, Y defy me.
Wow, that was some pretty dramatic theatrics by Theater of Yugen. Well, now we have a solo bilingual singer and songwriter musician from Pinole, Miss Chie Kwan. Miss Kwan grew up in Kobe, Japan, and began taking piano lessons at the age of 7, moved to the U.S. in 1994, studied music at a community college, then later at Sonoma State University's Jazz Music Department. She obtained a BA in music with jazz vocal emphasis, and after graduating from Sonoma State, she continued her vocal training in classical voice. Chie is now a music teacher and discovered her passion for songwriting. In 2018, Chie released her second self-produced album, I'm a Canary.
Hi everyone, I'm Chie. I'm happy to be included in this rare occasion, and I would like to say thank you to the Cherry Blossom Committee. ベイエリアに在住してもう随分になるんですけれども、音楽教師としてレッスンをしたり、シンガーソングライターとしての活躍をしています。日本語と英語の両方で曲を書いたりするんですけれども、日本語の曲をこの国で歌うっていうのはなかなか難しいので、こういう桜祭りに呼んでいただいて歌えるということはとても光栄で楽しく思っています。1曲目は私のオリジナルではなくて、私の大好きな平原綾香さんのお日様大切なあなたへという曲でオープニングにしたいと思います。では聴いてください。光が差し風が泳ぎ生きてゆけるとそう思えたの。出会えた日は私の記念日。ごめん大げさ本当の気持ちよ。あなたは私の奇跡。あなたは私の希望。暗い闇も行き止まりも二人なら軽いで。あなたと共に笑ってあなたと共に泣いたね。どこかで私を感じててそれだけでいいのよ。目覚めてから眠りにつくすべて愛しいそう思えたの。笑うだけで
この暮らしが続くのなら何もいりはしない。あなたは私の奇跡、あなたは私の希望、必ずどこかで見ているわ、それだけでいいのよ。たとえ世界中があなたの敵だって私だけはいつでも味方だわ。大丈夫、信じて。あなたが忘れていても私が忘れはしない。この命を投げ出すのに迷いなんてないわ。あなたは私の奇跡、あなたは私の希望、お願いどこかで笑ってて、それだけでいい、それだけがいいのよ。
Okay, thank you so much for listening to my first song. Second one, I'm going to share with you my original. It's called Uchu no Branco, or The Cosmic Swing. ちは誰だって嫌だよね。友達なくしちゃったらやっぱり泣いちゃうよね。それでも誰かが君も辛いんだねってブランクこいでる背中をそっと押してくれたら大きな夕日に
るから Time and time again, I close my eyes. Beyond the ocean, my heart reaches the island. We kissed 1,000 times. Everything gleamed in joy.
And that was the beautiful voice of Chie Kwan. Wonderful. Anyway, let's move on to another kind of beauty, miniature Japanese trees, natural stone artwork, and appreciation. The art form of bonsai captures the grandeur and beauty of nature on a reduced scale, producing miniature trees and plants. Similarly, naturally occurring and expressive stones that are categorized as suaseki are used to create landscapes like mountains and waterfalls by the Bonsai Society of San Francisco.
Hey everyone, I'm Sam from the Bonsai Society of San Francisco, and welcome to our virtual Cherry Blossom Festival presentation on bonsai. A quick introduction about the club. The Bonsai Society of San Francisco has been around since 1960, and we are, the place in San Francisco where bonsai lovers and enthusiasts come together to share their passion. So we've been around for a while. I'm the current president, and today I'll be talking very briefly about bonsai. So most of you might have heard of bonsai, seen it before. Maybe no one's really explained to you exactly what it is. In a nutshell, bonsai is a collection of horticultural techniques and aesthetic, cultural, artistic conventions around the the cultivation of miniature trees in pots. The characters for bonsai literally mean plant in a container or plant in a tray, I believe. So really it's just all about having it's all about trees in containers, plants in containers. Bonsai actually, if you go all the way back in the history, bonsai actually, kind of first came from China and eventually made its way to Japan, where the art form really blossomed and grew. In China, there's a form of art that's still there called penzing, and that focuses a lot on creating landscapes in containers, trees being a part of that landscape. When this art form made its way to Japan, the Japanese kind of emphasized more of, they kind of abstracted away the landscape a bit more, and they emphasized more on the tree itself, individual trees in the container. And then we had bonsai. And bonsai has been around for a long time. There are some ancient paintings, I think from, somewhere in the 1100s, depicting people enjoying a tree in a container in their house. And many of the techniques that we use today in modern bonsai were developed in Japan. So today I'm just going to show you some very basic techniques that we use in the cultivation of bonsai. So right here next to me is one of the favorite trees in my collection. This is actually a Monterey cypress. So this is the same kind of tree you'll see in Land's End, all around San Francisco, and it's a very iconic Northern California tree. So most of you might be thinking, oh, I didn't know that's not a bonsai species, that's usually a very big tree. Well, you can actually bonsai basically anything. They're actually, the trees you see in the container are actually the same trees that you'd see out, in much bigger sizes in nurseries or out in the wild. Really using the right techniques, and sometimes by choosing the right species, you can actually train the plant to grow into a miniature representation of its full-size self. But you put any one of these plants out in the ground, they're going to grow into big trees because that's what plants do. So let's take a closer look at one of the branches here. So I'm going to first talk about how we might prune this tree, because this tree is starting to grow slightly out of shape. So we're going to look closely at one of these branches up here. So if you can see, really the shape of the branch of this branch pad I was going for is really, more of like a triangular shape. But you can see that some of these tips have been growing kind of past the desired silhouette of this pad. So what I can do at the right times of year is, if I see one of these long pieces and I want to bring them back, if you can see that this tip is the part that's growing really, really aggressively. And really, I want to redirect this tree's growth back into interior pieces. So by actually removing this kind of strong tip back over to here, say, removing that, I've told the tree that it can now basically divert its resources to this branch, and this branch. The specific pruning techniques kind of vary tree by tree, and you kind of have to understand how the tree will respond to your pruning. But generally speaking, we prune in a way that encourages the tree to grow, divert its resources to growing foliage where we want it to grow. So very quickly again, I'm just going to make a few more prunes that are appropriate. Basically always snipping kind of the long terminal tip off back into a secondary interior shoot. And over time, once I apply this across this full pad, I'm gonna get a more aesthetically pleasing branch pad. The second thing I'd like to talk about is wiring a tree. So when you notice that this tree is actually very organized and there's a lot of spaces between all its branch pads, really a lot of how this is achieved is by wrapping wire around the branches and then positioning these branch pads where we want them to be. Over time, the tree puts on some woody mass, it grows thicker, and then it sets its new position that the wire, that it was moved into because of the wire. At that point, we remove the wire, and the tree kind of assumes this new shape. And we continue wiring the parts that we want to change, and over time, you get the tree to grow into the shape that you want. Let's take a close-up look at how this looks like on the tree. So if you look over here, if you look closely, you can see that this is actually copper wire that was previously applied to the tree. I'm not going to put any new wire on this tree right now, but I'm going to show you how with this copper wire, which has holding power, I can move this branch out and let it, and it stays there because of the wire. I can also move it back in. And through a combination of pruning and moving the branches using this wire, I can get the tree, I can form a pad that I want. So, if I move this too far out, I get these awkward breaks in spaces. So, this is part art, part technique, but you're basically using this wire to arrange the branch in a way that you find aesthetically pleasing. And there we go. And over time, the branch will thicken, and this wire will start to bite into that branch a little bit. That's about the time when you actually take it off, and you know that the wood has set this position. And over time, you won't even have to see this wire anymore. Great, so now we talked about two of the techniques that we use in bonsai, right? We prune the tree back. We also wrap wire around the branches to position things where we want to position them. And then really, at this point, like how you position the branches and what kind of shape you go for, that's where the aesthetics and the design of bonsai come into play. Personally, I find that part very interesting and exciting. And for this particular tree, I chose to go for a bit of a non-traditional approach and to reflect a Monterey cypress in its natural growth habit, which is that very lateral, very kind of flat pads. If you've seen these trees, actually they end up growing like a big flat top over here, and it's extremely lateral. These are very iconic trees, and I kind of wanted to get a bit of a sense of that here. Also, I wanted a tree that was really moving moving, I guess, to the left with the wind. So I had a lot of the foliage, I arranged a lot of my foliar pads so that this side is shorter, this side is longer, and so the sum of that is that you get an effect, an insinuation of wind kind of causing the tree to grow in this habit. One of the beautiful things about bonsai is that you can create a tree, or you can be inspired by natural trees, and create kind of a piece of art that kind of shows nature's influence, or kind of your spin on nature's influence on a tree. And when you do it well, it's really quite a joy to see. So in the future, I think over time, I think some of these lower branches will get weaker, and some of these will eventually die. And that's a good thing actually for this kind of tree, because over time you get a mix of dead and live parts in the tree, and the tree will get sparser and sparser and it'll look older. And I think maybe in a few years we're going to see a tree that looks less like a Monterey cypress that you see in a park in San Francisco, and more like a Monterey cypress you see somewhere in the wild, like Point Lobos, a very old, rugged tree that has been beaten by the elements. And that's really what I'm going for here. So I think that's basically all I have to show all of you today. If you folks are interested to learn more about bonsai, please join the club's meetings. You can find more information about the Bonsai Society of San Francisco at bssf.org. There is a mailing list sign up. So if you're interested in finding out more about the club, please go to the Bonsai Society of San Francisco's website at bssf.org. You can sign up for a mailing list there, and we'll keep you posted about online meetings that we've been holding, and maybe hopefully one day soon, in-person meetings. And yeah, you can, there are a lot of great people there, and we talk about bonsai all day long. So thanks for joining me, and have a great virtual Cherry Blossom Festival.
And our thanks to the Bonsai Society of San Francisco for that. If you're interested in learning more about the art of bonsai, check out their website on our chat page. Now, we are joined by the Matsutoyo Kai Japanese folk music and dance group. The Matsutoyo Kai was established in Northern California by Matsutoyo Sato in 1966 and was based in the San Francisco Bay Area. In 1976, Matsutoyo moved to the Los Angeles area, and in 2006, Matsutoyo Kai became a nonprofit organization. Matsutoyo Kai passes on the traditional music of Japan by providing instruction in singing, shamisen, taiko, and kane, and performs their Japanese folk and classical music. With Matsutoyo Sato as artistic director, they will continue to expand Matsutoyo Kai, keeping this rare art of Japanese history alive. Performing Yakusan Fukugawa, also known as Old Tokyo, which is a Hotta song from Japan's Edo period, please welcome Matsutoyo Kai. And in case you missed it during my introduction, that was Matsutoyo Kai, Japanese folk music and dance. They have 3 separate performances, but 2 will be aired next week. So please come back next week to watch their rendition, Amugiai Bushi and Owase Bushi. Next, we go to the Bay Area's Mid-Peninsula with the Koto Ikute Ryu Chikushi School Ishikawa Shachu. And they are based in San Mateo, California, and practice traditional Japanese music, specializing in the koto, the Japanese harp, and the sanjen, the Japanese 3-stringed instrument. And we want to mention that we could not have done this virtual festival this year without the generous financial support from the Grants for the Arts, the Henry and Tomoye Takahashi Charitable Foundation, and the Japantown Foundation. I also want to give kudos out to our tech team who did a lot of work behind the scenes as well as doing promotion and handling the Q&A online. Michelle, Sydney, and Christy, thank you very much, as well as handling the tech chores here. Madison and Ryan, thank you so much, as well as to acknowledge our co-chairs, Greg and Mickey. Everybody did a great job. It's been wonderful working with you. I was also asked to share some thoughts about what Kizuna means to me, the strengthening of bonds of community and friendship. And I think we all know what's been going on lately. Mike Inoue made some very nice comments yesterday about the vandalism of the cherry blossom trees and how that symbolized a lot of what's going on right now. And so I would just ask people to get involved, treat this as a real thing, because a lot of people will try to downplay it, but it is something that is happening in the community, and we want people to know that people in the community take it seriously. But let's not focus just on Asian hate, okay? Let's also focus on some Asian love. And one of the best ways to do that, the Japantowns are struggling. Japantowns in San Jose, San Francisco, and even Los Angeles, they are struggling. And it isn't just a sociological dilemma, it is a financial, economic reality. So the best way to go ahead and support them is to go out and to those businesses in Japantown. Go have a meal, go have, buy some mochi, go buy some manju, go out and go to these stores, go out and go to these Japantowns. Go to these merchants who are trying so hard to stay in business so that we can keep what is Japantown and the culture here alive, okay? You really have to go out and do that. Financial support, it's so important. I say the same thing for the Chinatowns as well, okay? So if I have to say anything, I just want to make sure that people understand that the Japantowns need you to come out and go to their businesses so that they can survive. So let's do that, okay? I hope you enjoyed our broadcast this weekend as Mike Inoue and I shared a bit of our Kizuna. Please join us again as Jana Katsuyama, my old pal from KTVU Channel 2. She will host the next weekend of the 54th Annual Northern California Cherry Blossom Festival. She will do a great job. I had a great time today. Thank you all for joining us, and sayonara. That means goodbye in Japanese.